Folks, this is breaking news from the Wall Street Journal. The Justice Department told Donald Trump in May that his name is among many names in the Epstein files. Let me repeat that again. Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files. This should not be breaking news to anyone who's been paying attention, but this is absolutely confirmation of what we already knew. We knew because of the behavior pattern of Donald Trump, who ran on the Epstein files, promising his constituents, his voters, that he would release the Epstein files. We now know that he has changed his story, and he has changed it because he knew back in May, 2 months ago, that his name was indeed in the Epstein file. Allow me to read a bit of this for you. I want to jump right in. The Wall Street Journal is reporting this, quote, in May, Pam Bondi and her deputy informed the president in a meeting at the White House that his name was in the Epstein files, the official said. Many other high-profile figures were also named, Trump was told. They also mentioned that being mentioned in the records isn't a sign of wrongdoing. Well, if that's the case, my friends, release the files. Let the people judge. Let the people decide. But instead of releasing the files, it strikes me that isn't this about the same exact time when Donald Trump started to change his tune? Up until this point, he kept saying that he was going to release the files. They released the first release. They released phase 1 of the Epstein files with all of the MAGA influencers who have strangely been very silent, by the way. Libs of TikTok hasn't tweeted about this in almost 3 months. It's almost as if she found out in May at the same time that Donald Trump's name was in there, but I digress. They changed their tune. Not only did Donald Trump change his tune, not only did all of the MAGA influencers change their tune, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, 2 conspiracy theorists who are now running and operating in the FBI, who built their entire careers off of the Epstein case, have now changed their tune. This is also what the Wall Street Journal is reporting. That, quote, FBI Director Kash Patel has privately told other government officials that Donald Trump's name appeared in the files, according to people close to the administration. Patel declined to answer an inquiry from the Journal about the Epstein case, but said in a statement that the memo on the Justice Department website explaining why the department wouldn't release more Epstein documents was, quote, consistent with the thorough review conducted by the FBI and the DOJ. Now, folks, you'll remember this joint interview on Fox News where Dan Bongino and Kash Patel looked like they were being held hostage. They looked like they knew full well that they were getting ready to implicate themselves because they had to lie on behalf of Donald Trump. Here's what they said about the Epstein case on Fox News just a few months ago.
As a public defender, as a prosecutor who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Now I want to play a clip of Donald Trump lying again. Of course, that is no surprise. That's not the breaking news, but this is Donald Trump on the White House lawn as he was preparing to board Marine One, asked by a journalist if he had in fact been informed by Pam Bondi back in May of his name being on the list, and this is what he lied. This is what he said.
The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you on that.
What? On the
DOJ and FBI
On what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein.
Okay.
On Epstein, of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well. And it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
And again, we've been asking ourselves the question, why is Donald Trump so willing to completely and utterly destroy his entire power structure, destroy his relationship with his power base, with MAGA? Because several weeks ago, or really just last week, Donald Trump came out and told everyone to lay off of the Epstein files, to move on. He went even so far as to call his supporters stupid.
No, it's not the Attorney General. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work. People that are really doing the Democrats' work, they're stupid people. Yeah, go ahead.
And now I believe we understand precisely why. Again, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that the Justice Department told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files. But I want to show you how far these monsters are willing to go to protect the pedophile in chief. We see Speaker of the House Mike Johnson has released the Congress to an early vacation in order to avoid the vote that was being brought and forced by Kentucky Representative Thomas Massie, who is a Republican, and California Representative Ro Khanna, who is a Democrat. I want you to hear that again. There are Democrats and Republicans who have joined together to get the Epstein files released. And because that vote was going to be forced on this Thursday, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson just sent everyone home to an early vacation, also that they could protect the president, also that they could protect the names of the people on the Epstein list. This is what Speaker Mike Johnson had to say about it.
No, but I, as you all know, I speak to the president multiple times a day on a typical day, often, always. And what I know about the president's heart on this is that he agrees with everything I've said here today. He wants maximum transparency, but he's also very insistent that we do not subject people who have already been victims of unspeakable crimes to further public scrutiny. And it would be a very dangerous thing to put those people's names out or to do a release of information in a way that is haphazard where they could be easily unmasked.
This administration is at DEFCON 5. They are declaring all-out war on anyone and everyone they possibly can in order to wag the dog, to distract from the fact that Donald Trump's name has been confirmed by the Wall Street Journal as being on the Epstein files. And as a result, Tulsi Gabbard, who, by the way, is Vladimir Putin's top prize. His top crowning achievement was to get Tulsi Gabbard into the Director of National Intelligence, and she has used all of her political as well as her intelligence capital in order to contrive some fabricated, trumped-up charges against former President Barack Obama, also that she could run interference and distract the nation from the fact that indeed Donald Trump's name is on the Epstein list. He is in the Epstein files. The director of the FBI, Kash Patel, admitted it. The DOJ let Donald Trump know himself, which begs the question, like, if Donald Trump was innocent, you really have to pause and say, is this man this arrogant? Answered, yes, he is this arrogant. And he is so foolish as to believe that he could run on releasing the Epstein files and then just switch his story later on. This is what con men do. This is what two-bit hustlers do. This is what gaslighters do. This is what narcissists and megalomaniacs do. This is what the president of the United States, Donald Trump, did. He told the world that he was going to release the Epstein files, all the while knowing that he was implicated himself because he doesn't think very highly of his voters. And he said as much. He called you stupid, MAGA. And the question is, are you going to let him get away with it? Is your political allegiance, are your loyalties to Donald Trump so great that not only will you allow him to get away with calling you stupid for demanding the truth, but you'll let him get away with the fact that his name has been confirmed by the Department of Justice, by FBI Director Kash Patel. His name has been confirmed as being on the list. Listen, I don't know what else to say at this point, but accept the fact that we have the opportunity as a human species. I know this is this. Yes, honestly, I was going to narrow it down and say as Americans, but I guarantee you that the Epstein files are not just limited to Americans. I guarantee you that there is somebody on that list implicated from almost every nation on the face of the planet. We already know that there are over 4,000 transactions wired directly into the Epstein bank account, totaling over $1 billion of resources. We already know that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell had ties to every intelligence agency almost across this nation, across the globe, including MI5, including Mossad, including the CIA. We know that the governments of this world utilize compromise and blackmail as a means of controlling powerful people. We know that there's a historical record that shows that every empire, doesn't matter which empire, doesn't matter when, doesn't matter where, the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, the British Empire, the United States Empire, every single empire has been implicated in the predation of our children, abusing our children. And here we have the opportunity for the first time for us as human beings to stand up to the most powerful people in the world and say, not anymore. The only question now is, will MAGA be so seduced by the red meat and the red herring that is this trumped up attempt at prosecuting Barack Obama? Are they so seduced with their hatred for Barack Obama that they're going to let a predator run free? The FBI, the DOJ have confirmed that Donald Trump is in fact on the Jeffrey Epstein list. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe to this channel as we continue to speak truth to power, whether they like it or not. You can become a patron and support our show at patreon.com/the BPD show. If you want to support us directly, you can send a PayPal to paypal.me/HeyPastorBen, or you can send a Cash App at $HeyPastorBen.